Active Assurance, which is the monitoring and testing of network traffic, data plane or user plane traffic, often conjures up images of expensive, appliance-based, and resource-intensive equipment, unscalable and inflexible. But we've broken that paradigm. Today, you can visualize the end-to-end perceived performance of your networks and services, even spanning networks that you don't directly control, on demand, anywhere you like, and with no impact on the network itself. Let me show you how powerful this is. Let's start with testing. From the dashboard, we'll go past our running monitors to our list of tests. In this example, we've got tests covering service activation, cloud interconnect, SD-WAN branch connectivity, path trace, and some others. Let's see what it actually involves. It's actually several distinct tests, sometimes running in parallel, sometimes in sequence, covering layer 2 link paths, throughput, reachability, and all the way up to service response times and error rates in layer 7 applications like the Microsoft Office 365 apps. We can see the latest test results here, showing color-coded views of performance against SLAs. These tests are fully configurable from the dashboard. You can choose how long they run for, which subtests to include, and in which order, the SLA thresholds, URLs, service types, and the list goes on. We're going to create a complete site activation test in less than 10 minutes. Here we go. We'll test for connection integrity and reachability, connection speed, voice over IP, and finally we'll make sure all the Office 365 services are working properly. And we're done. That took just over 6 minutes. Now, let's save that as a template so we never have to design the same test again. And with that done, we can run the test and see what happens. Let's go. We open our test template that we just designed, and now we just have to select the client and the server. Now we run the test, and we can see the progress at each step in the form of a pass or fail, and expandable progress bars, which are color-coded to show when performance was above or below the criteria we set. Here you can see the result of our latency test, based on TWAMP, is a fail, because the round-trip time was above our threshold of 100 milliseconds from the US headquarters to the Tokyo headquarters. The errored seconds is 60, which means it was above the threshold for the entire 1-minute duration of the test. Let's have a closer look at this. Rolling back up to our end-to-end latency test, we can see that overall the latency was within the threshold for all but 1 second of the minute-long test. Drilling down to see this 1 second period, we can see the problem was a jump in jitter to 5 milliseconds. So that is why the latency test failed, and we can decide whether that's acceptable or tweak the network to address the issue. Moving on. We're now testing the customer experience for critical applications like voice, which includes load testing by sending multiple streams of synthetic VoIP traffic while measuring voice mean opinion score, or MOS, and Office 365 by continuously sending HTTP requests to these services throughout the 1-minute test period. That was a fairly typical site acceptance test, but you can do a lot more besides. For example, you can run a Netflix speed test, run a path trace, and monitor path stability over time, scan for available Wi-Fi networks, test mobile signal strength and signal-to-noise ratios, test 5G core network user plane performance through multi-G Node B and UE emulation, test performance between specific QoS classes. Our customers use active testing to unlock new use cases, like verifying new sites, services, or changes before activating them, because they can verify reliability and performance even if there's no traffic in the live network. It's also invaluable for troubleshooting, because you can quickly and easily reproduce a scenario and then drill down into the details to identify the root cause instead of spending hours trawling through thousands of performance or fault records. Critical networks supporting services like emergency response can be tested at regular intervals, even if not in active use. giving customers confidence that when they are needed, they'll work flawlessly. Now, let's look at active monitoring, which, like active testing, also uses synthetic traffic in the live network to monitor customer experience on the user plane. But this time, it's a continuous, real-time process, giving you sub-second granular visibility of performance, both end-to-end and hop-by-hop, and real-time alarms that can trigger things like closed-loop remediation through standard APIs. We're seeing a summary of all monitors currently running. We're monitoring Wi-Fi, OTT video, voice over IP, a global SD-WAN, cloud connectivity, and others. The dashboard automatically brings the most problematic services to the top of the list, with a traffic light view showing SLA compliance at a glance. Let's drill down into the global SD-WAN, and further down into the London to Tokyo network. Everything's green. So far, so good. Now, let's look at the 24-hour view. Now we see a period of around 11 minutes where we lost connectivity. Going into the graph view and zooming into those 11 minutes, you can see exactly when it started and finished. We're also continuously monitoring latency via TWAMP and voice connectivity, as well as running ping tests 10 times per second. But crucially, unlike traditional active testing methods, we're only using a few kilobytes per second of network capacity, practically nothing. This is true even if you scale up to thousands of virtual test agents, which many of our customers are doing today. As well as end-to-end, we can also visualize performance hop by hop using Path Trace feature. We can see the round-trip time from our test agent to every hop along the way to the destination address and look at every variation of path used over time. And we can drill down to any router on the path and see how each one is contributing to overall reliability and performance over time, zooming right down to a few seconds if we want. It's all powered by an elegantly simple, lightweight software solution. With Active Assurance from Juniper Paragon, you can ensure you deploy high-performance connectivity first time, every time, delivering differentiated customer experiences throughout the service lifecycle. It's easy to use, flexible, and scalable. Active Assurance, a Juniper Paragon use case.